Welcome to the Deep Dive, brought to you by Chat Like a Native. Today, we're jumping into something that trips up a lot of English learners, especially, at work. It's that habit of translating everything in your head before you actually say anything. If you've ever found yourself pausing too long or feeling totally drained after a conversation in English or just wishing you sounded a bit more natural, well, this deep dive is definitely for you.
Oh, absolutely. It's so common. And look, our mission today is pretty straightforward. We want to give you some really practical strategies, things you can actually do to break out of that translation cycle.
Yeah, get unstuck.
Exactly. We're talking about training your brain to actually think in English. That's the key, because that leads to speaking more naturally, feeling more confident, and honestly being more effective in your professional life.
Get ready for, hopefully, a few aha moments today. We really think this can change how you handle English conversations, particularly at work. So let's dig in this habit, translating word for word. It happens a lot with intermediate learners, right? Especially when the pressure's on, like in a meeting.
Definitely. It feels like the safe option, like you're checking your work before you submit it. But what people often miss is the hidden cost.
What do you mean hidden cost?
Well, it's the extra mental work. It's not just one step. When you translate like that, you're actually juggling 4 things in your head.
4. Okay, break that down.
Okay, so first you have to listen to the English, right? Understand what's being said.
Got it. Step 1.
Step 2, you mentally translate that into your native language.
Okay.
Step 3, you figure out your answer, but you think of it in your native language first.
Right, makes sense.
And then finally, step 4, you translate that answer back into English before you can speak.
Wow, 4 steps when you put it like that.
Compared to just 2 if you think directly in English. Listen, think in English, speak.
Yeah, and in a fast-paced meeting, forget it. There's just no time for that 4-step process. It's like trying to sprint while, juggling.
Exactly. It massively increases your cognitive load, makes spontaneous conversation almost impossible.
And it's not just about speed, is it? I mean, the sentences themselves can sound a bit clunky.
That's the other big thing. Direct translation often creates unnatural-sounding sentences because, well, language structures are different. Word order in your native language might just not map perfectly onto English.
So it sounds correct to you because you've translated it carefully, but to a native speaker, it might sound a bit off.
Precisely. A bit unusual.
Okay, so how can listeners tell if they're maybe still doing this? What are the signs?
Well, the big one is that long pause before answering. Even simple questions sometimes. If you find yourself needing that extra beat to mentally translate, that's a pretty clear sign.
Right, that hesitation. What else?
That unusual word order we talked about, if your sentences consistently seem to mirror the structure of your first language, that's another clue.
Right.
Or maybe you struggle with idioms or common workplace jargon. Like you hear it, but you have to stop and consciously decode it in your own language before it clicks.
Yeah, that takes time and effort.
It really does. And maybe the most common sign, the one people really feel, is just feeling mentally wiped out after English conversations, even short ones.
That cognitive load again.
Exactly. If that feeling is familiar, chances are you're still doing a lot of that mental translation work.
Okay, so that's the problem. Let's talk solutions. How do you actually train your brain to skip that translation step?
It really comes down to building a new habit. And like any habit, it takes time and consistent practice. It sounds like a big task, but you can start really, really small.
Small how? Like, what's the first step?
Just start naming things around you, directly in English, no detour through your native language. Look at your desk right now. Keyboard, monitor, mouse, pen.
Okay, or on your commute, traffic light, bus stop, building.
Exactly. It seems almost too simple, but what you're doing is forging a direct link. Object to English word. You're building automatic recall, bypassing the old translation pathway.
Strengthening that direct connection. Okay, what's next?
Narrate simple actions. Talk to yourself, basically. It might feel a bit weird at first.
Yeah, maybe a little.
But it works. As you do things, just say them in English. I'm opening this email. I need to call Sarah. I'm making coffee.
And the goal isn't perfect grammar here, right?
Not at all. The goal is instant thinking in English. Getting the words out as the thought happens. Fluency first.
Okay. And you mentioned something about mental snapshots. What's that?
Yeah, this is quite powerful. So when you think of a concept, say the word meeting, try to link the English word directly to the image or feeling of a meeting.
So not linking meeting to the word for meeting in my language, but to the actual picture in my head.
Exactly. The conference room, the people, the agenda maybe. You're creating a direct concept to English link, making English the primary tag for that idea in your mind.
That makes sense. Building a visual or sensory link.
Right, and then you just gradually increase the complexity. Move from single words like keyboard or meeting to short, common phrases like meeting starts at 10 or send the report later, check my schedule. You're building little blocks of thought directly in English.
Okay, so naming things, narrating actions, using mental snapshots, and then building up to short phrases.
Got it.
Now, alongside this kind of direct thinking practice, there's another huge piece, especially for work, listening, active listening.
Right, you can't really expect to speak naturally if you're not hearing natural English regularly, particularly in a work context.
Exactly. You need that immersion, and there are ways to really maximize this.
Like what? What are some practical listening tips for the workplace?
Okay, one good one is shadowing business podcasts or even snippets from meetings if you can record them.
Shadowing. You mean repeating what they say? Yeah, in real time or just after them. Try to mimic their pronunciation, their rhythm, their intonation. It helps internalize the flow of natural spoken English.
Okay, that sounds useful.
Another thing, watch short English at work videos. There are tons online. They expose you to typical workplace scenarios, vocabulary, phrases.
Bite-sized learning.
Exactly. And here's a bold one, if your workplace culture allows. Try switching internal meetings to English sometimes, even if everyone shares a native language.
Ooh, that takes some guts maybe, but I can see how it would really push you.
It seriously boosts confidence and forces that direct thinking muscle to work in a real, albeit safe, environment.
So all this listening, what's it actually doing?
It's building your internal library. You start absorbing common sentence structures, collocations, words that naturally go together. Your brain stores these patterns.
So when you need to speak, you can pull out these ready-made chunks instead of building everything from scratch via translation.
Precisely. It's like having pre-assembled phrases ready to go. Much faster, much more natural.
Okay, so we're building the thinking habit, we're immersing ourselves in listening. Are there any common traps people fall into? Things to avoid?
Definitely. One big one is trying to directly translate idioms or common sayings from your native language.
Yeah. That can lead to some confusing results, right?
Totally, like the classic, it's raining cats and dogs.
Yeah.
If you translate a similar colorful phrase literally from your language, it might just sound bizarre or nonsensical in English. You need to learn the English equivalent idiom.
Good point. What else?
Using very formal textbook English in casual work situations, like grabbing coffee or chatting before a meeting.
Right. It can make you sound a bit stiff or distant.
Yeah, exactly. It's important to kind of gauge the situation and adjust your tone. Formal presentation. Okay, more formal English. Casual chat. Relax it a bit. Use more common phrasal verbs, maybe contractions.
Adaptability is key.
And another thing, try not to get too hung up on perfect grammar while you're speaking, especially mid-sentence.
Easier said than done sometimes.
I know. But honestly, prioritize getting your message across clearly and keeping the conversation flowing. You can always work on refining grammar separately, but if you stop and correct yourself constantly mid-flow...
You lose momentum, and it actually makes you sound less fluent.
Exactly. Perfectionism can be the enemy of fluency here.
Okay, this is all great practical advice, but there's still that fear factor, isn't there? Even if you can think in English, the fear of making a mistake can push you right back into translating.
Oh, absolutely. Confidence is huge. It's just as important as vocabulary or grammar in breaking this habit for good. Fear is a powerful blocker.
So how do you build that confidence, especially in a professional setting where mistakes might feel high stakes?
One great technique is preparation, but smart preparation. Before a meeting, jot down your key points. But, and this is crucial, do it in English, just short bullet points.
Not full sentences translated from your language.
No, definitely not. Start the thinking process in English from the get-go. It primes your brain.
Makes sense.
And practice speaking out loud every day. Treat speaking like a muscle. You have to exercise it, even if it's just talking to yourself, narrating your tasks, summarizing an article.
Just getting used to the sound of your own voice speaking English confidently.
Yes. And finally, you have to consciously accept imperfection. Your goal is communication, right? Not winning a grammar prize. Even native speakers aren't always perfectly grammatical, but they communicate effectively.
That's a really good point. Clarity over perfection.
Definitely.
So you mentioned practice, but people are busy. Does this require hours of study every day?
Not at all. Actually, short, focused bursts of practice mini drills can be incredibly effective for breaking the translation habit. It's about consistency and making it automatic.
Okay, give us some examples. What kind of mini drills work well?
Okay, what I really like is the 1-minute summary. After a meeting or even watching a short work-related video, just take 60 seconds and summarize the key points out loud in English.
Forces you to process and speak quickly in English.
Exactly, under a little bit of time pressure. Another fun one, maybe for more casual chats, is the 3-word response challenge.
3 words. How does that work?
Someone asks you a question like, "How was your weekend?" Or, "Did you see that email?" Try to answer using exactly 3 words.
Like, it was good, or yes, I did.
Right. It forces super quick thinking and stops you from constructing a long, translated sentence. It's about immediate response.
Clever. Any others?
Role-playing. If you have a colleague or friend who's also learning or supportive, do quick role-plays of common work situations, like a phone call or asking for clarification. The key is to respond instantly, no pausing to translate aloud.
Practice makes perfect, or at least much more fluent.
It really does. We saw this with an engineer. She was based in Nairobi. Super smart, brilliant English reading skills. But in live international calls, she'd just freeze up.
The classic scenario.
Totally. She knew she was translating, getting bogged down, so she started doing those 1-minute summaries after every call, and she narrated her technical tasks to herself in English during the day.
Did it work?
Amazingly well. Within about 3 months, she wasn't just participating. She was actually leading parts of the discussions. Smoothly, confidently. Her colleagues noticed, too. They started asking her to represent the team more often.
Wow, that's a fantastic result, just from those consistent mini drills.
It shows the power of building those new, direct mental pathways.
And thinking about those workplace meetings and calls, another thing that helps is having some phrases ready, right?
Yes, but not memorizing rigid, full sentences. That can sound robotic. The trick is to focus on adaptable sentence starters.
Okay, like what kind of starters?
Things like, "Let's move on to," or "Could you clarify?" or "From my perspective," or just to build on that point.
So you learn these flexible starting chunks really well.
Exactly. They become automatic. Once you've got the starter out, it kind of jumpstarts your brain, and you can then focus your mental energy on finishing the sentence with your specific point, in your own words, without that initial translation hurdle.
It buys you thinking time and sets you off in English.
Precisely. It lowers the barrier to starting to speak.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. The core message here seems to be that speaking English naturally at work isn't just about cramming more vocabulary.
No, it's fundamentally about changing how your brain processes the language. It's about training it to think directly in English, cutting out that middleman, that translation step.
And the way to do that is through a combination of things. Those daily mini drills to build automaticity.
Actively listening and immersing yourself in real workplace English.
Using those adaptable sentence starters to make speaking easier.
And maybe most importantly, building the confidence to just go for it and accept that imperfection is part of the process.
When you bring all those together, that's when you really start to break free from translating and begin communicating with, more impact and less stress.
Just take a second and consider, how much more effective could you be? How much more could you contribute if your brain wasn't constantly doing that extra translation work?
It's a powerful thought. So here's something for you to think about. What's just one small change, one mini drill maybe, that you can commit to trying this week to start building that direct English thinking pathway? Remember, fluency isn't just about the words you know, it's about how your brain uses them.